Hello folks, this is Scott with Dallas Paint Correction and Auto Detailing here in Dallas, Texas. I want to talk about SIO2 spray sealant, stuff like CarPro Reload, Geon Cure. So many different companies now have these SIO2 spray sealants. Why do we have SIO2 spray sealants? Well, people like to put ceramic coatings on their car. Ceramic coatings are very expensive to apply. You got to do paint correction, put the ceramic coating on. Then all of a sudden the ceramic coating is highly susceptible to water spots, especially if hard water gets on the ceramic coating. So they created, or they made you think they created SIO2, and they gave you a spray sealant to apply to a ceramic coated car so that if you got hard water on it, you wouldn't have issues with water spots. What I'm going to do, folks, I don't want to bash any one particular company, but I do want to have a rant about my industry if you guys don't mind. I'm going to apply Meguiar's Ultimate Fast Finish on this side of the hood. Meguiar's Ultimate Fast Finish is actually a true paint sealant. It's a non-filling paint sealant. It's actually a synthetic sealant, a synthetic wax, whatever you want to call it, because all wax means, folks, is anything that covers, treats, or fills the surface. A ceramic coating is a wax. SIO2 spray sealants are a wax. Carnauba is a wax, and so are traditional paint sealants. They're all waxes by definition. We just need to know, are they natural or synthetic, and then we go with the game. But here we go. I'm going to put Meguiar's Ultimate Fast Finish on this side of the panel, and then on this side of the panel I'm going to put an SIO2 spray sealant. Not going to bash any one particular company, but let's just have fun with this little experiment, if you will. Experiment? Boy, I feel like I'm chewing gum. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Meguiar's Ultimate Fast Finish. You guys have seen me do this before. When it comes to applying it, you kind of want to have one microfiber towel, take your Meguiar's Ultimate Fast Finish, get it slightly damp, if you will. That's enough to cover half this hood for sure. I'm going to go over this surface of this hood, make sure I have even distribution of the product, just about every surface of this paint. Meguiar's Ultimate Fast Finish, when you apply it, will kind of look like water or oil on top of water. It's kind of streaky, but it will almost flash on its own. In fact, it typically does flash on its own, unless you use a little bit too much product. Then what you're going to do is just take a second microfiber towel and just lightly buff so you don't have any high spots. Half that hood has now got a paint sealant on it. It's got the strongest paint sealant that Meguiar's has made to date. That was very fast, very easy. Now what I'm going to do is take another microfiber towel and apply an SIO2 spray sealant. Not going to bash any particular company. It's an SIO2 spray sealant. What I'm going to do, when you apply an SIO2 spray sealant, you got to be very careful whether you're putting it on the car as a standalone product or over ceramic coating. You got to make sure you're out of direct sunlight. You got to make sure the panel is dry and cool to the touch. Here's something else to worry about a little bit with SIO2s. You want to, even under the best of circumstances, you want to work fast. You don't want any streakiness of the product because it can get a little streaky. Let me spray some SIO2. Oops, let me get something. I got a little booger inside this microfiber. Let me spray SIO2 sealant on this microfiber and just go in here just like I did with the Meguiar's Ultimate Fast Finish. Make sure I have even distribution of the product all over the surface of the paint. This is very streaky when you apply it, even when you're applying it in the shade on a cool panel. And then you want to go in and lightly buff. When you buff out an SIO2 sealant, you'll see that it gives you a little bit more of a finicky experience. You kind of have to get to it quickly, make sure that you knock down those high sides. It's a little bit more work and effort than Meguiar's Ultimate Fast Finish. But a lot of my industry will tell you that an SIO2 spray sealant might be a little bit more finicky, but it lasts longer than a traditional sealant like the Meguiar's Ultimate Fast Finish. Or does it? Who knows? Now what I'm going to do is hit it with water. Let's see how both these products behave when you hit it with water. Both of them are sheeting off water relatively quickly. There is a lot more standing water. This panel is as flat as I can make it on my driveway. I'm noticing there's a lot more water beading here. Meguiar's Ultimate Fast Finish is actually sheeting off more water. The panel, this side of the panel, is a little bit drier than the SIO2 spray sealant. But let me hit it again with some water. Both of them respond pretty nicely. The SIO2 will bead more water. Meguiar's will actually sheet off water faster than the SIO2, and this panel is as flat as I can get it. What's more important, water beading or water sheeting? You decide. I have no idea. Actually, I do, but I don't want to give my opinions to you guys because half the time people go nuts. Let me go ahead and dry these panels. Both of them do about the same when it comes to hitting it with a blow dryer, right? When you want to get the surface dry. Now what I'm going to do is just take a microfiber towel and just make sure I picked up the little bit of water that's still sitting on the panel. I don't want any water on there, and we'll just lightly massage. I also noticed the Meguiar's Ultimate Fast Finish side, very slick under the microfiber towel, feels good. Let me see if there's a difference with the SIO2 when I pick up this little leftover water. It almost feels identical, very slick, just like the Meguiar's Ultimate Fast Finish side. Now let's try to determine which one's stronger, which one's going to last longer on the paint. Meguiar's Ultimate Fast Finish, according to Meguiar's, they say it will last up to a year. Typically an SIO2 spray sealant, depending on which one you buy, some of them make outrageous claims they'll last for 8 months. I've yet to see that, folks. Now what I'm going to do is take a body solvent. I'm going to take a paint prep. This paint prep is made by Drive Auto Appearance. It's called their Detox Surface Prep Spray. Has the ability to remove waxes, sealants, grease, and grime off the panel. What I'm going to do is spray it directly onto my microfiber towel. Get it pretty wet and then lightly massage it over the SIO2 side. So I'll get that wet. I got some nice paint prep on there, and I'm just going to let this body solvent or paint prep, whatever you want to call it, I'm just going to let it sit on the surface of the paint. I'm not going to buff out the fact that it's a little streaky at the moment. I actually want that solvent or paint prep to eat away at the sealant if it can. I will do the same thing with the Meguiar's Ultimate Fast Finish. Put some detox on there, and I'll go over the surface lightly. Make sure I have even distribution of the paint prep, body solvent, whatever you want to call this stuff, right? Okay, so that's on there, and I'm not going to buff it off. I'm going to let it stay streaky and flash on its own so that both sides had the paint prep slowly eating away at the sealant if it could. Let me hit it with water, and let's see how much we've diminished either one of these sealants. We would be made to believe the SIO2 spray sealant's got to be stronger. It's got to be able to withstand that paint prep a lot better than the Meguiar's Ultimate Fast Finish. Let's see if there's any water behavior difference. After one application of the product and then using a body solvent, they are both responding identically the same before I even use the body solvent or the paint prep. The SIO2 is beating up water a little bit more than Meguiar's Ultimate Fast Finish, but Meguiar's Ultimate Fast Finish is sheeting off water faster than the SIO2. Let's hit it again. There you go, water sheeting. We've got a little bit of more water beading on the SIO2 side. The water sheeting from Meguiar's is nice. It's acting the same way whether I apply the paint prep or not. There really is no diminishing of either product. Here is my point, folks. An SIO2 spray sealant. Do you know what it costs to buy a pound of SIO2? It's a powder. It costs 92 cents on the open market for 1 pound of SIO2. For whatever reason, when my industry puts some type of product in a bottle and you have to spray it on your car, they get outrageous amounts of money for it. In this particular demonstration here, Meguiar's Ultimate Fast Finish was easier to apply, much more user-friendly than the SIO2, even though I'm working in the shade and out of direct sunlight. Meguiar's Ultimate Fast Finish is a fraction of the cost of the SIO2 sealant. I guess one could argue, well, I need an SIO2 sealant. Yes, if you have a ceramic coating, you'll need it because you got to be worried about water spots. But in this particular demonstration here, folks, my industry is making you charge and making you pay an arm and a leg for stuff that's outside in the ground. 92 cents a pound for SIO2 in the open market as of 2018. You cannot put a pound of SIO2 in a 16-ounce bottle. Does it really make a difference in the end? If you want to have a sweet ride and you want to use either product as a standalone product, which one's easier to apply? The Meguiar's Ultimate Fast Finish. Which one seems to be just as chemical resistant as the SIO2 spray sealant? Meguiar's Ultimate Fast Finish. It costs less. You'll have more, user-friendly experience is important because you're most likely going to use this more often, Meguiar's Ultimate Fast Finish, than SIO2 because there's too many circumstances you can't use it in. A hot panel, a warm panel, indirect sunlight. Meguiar's Ultimate Fast Finish isn't going to be that finicky. Folks, I just kind of hope that makes sense. Why does my industry charge so much for one of the most abundant forms of material on the planet? Most of you have it in your front yard, SIO2. It's used in the concrete industry. It's used in the glass industry. It's so incredibly cheap, but my industry, the industry we all seem to love when we want to take care of our cars, will charge us an arm and a leg for this stuff. Folks, I'm not picking apart CarPro, Geon, whoever the SIO2 was. I see no difference in its water behavior, except SI2 does beat a little bit more, but Meguiar's Ultimate Fast Finish sheeted off more water. They both withstood a chemical against it right after applying it. I couldn't really strip it. They were even on the board. Why are we paying almost $40 for an SIO2 spray sealant for 16 ounces? Some of them are that expensive versus Meguiar's Ultimate Fast Finish that cost $10, $11, $12 retail grade. And it's the strongest paint sealant Meguiar's has made to date. If a product is much more user-friendly to apply, you'll most likely apply it more often. Which is more important, chasing your tail, trying to figure out how much SIO2 you have on the panel, or would you like to have a user-friendly experience and have what we would call a protected car? Folks, I love you all. The shine and gloss is the same. They both withstood some type of chemical after applying it. They both sheet off water. They both beat off water. Why are we paying so much for something that's in our front yard and costs 92 cents a pound for this stuff on the open market? The concrete industry practically gives it away. SIO2 was not created by my industry. Love you all. Talk to you soon.